In the late 19th century, alliances between the great powers of Europe were continuously shifting, and among the most intriguing possibilities that never materialized was a strong alliance between Germany and Russia, instead of Germany allying with Austria-Hungary. Had this alternate path been taken, the whole landscape of World War I, also known as the Great War, would have altered drastically. This scenario explores the potential outcomes had Germany and Russia remained close allies leading into the 20th century. The historical context: Germany's alliance dilemma. In 1871, Germany, freshly unified under the leadership of Otto von Bismarck, found itself in a precarious position. Surrounded by powerful neighbors, Bismarck recognized the risk of facing a two-front war, particularly against France and Russia. His solution was to ally with two of the three great powers that bordered Germany: Austria-Hungary, France, or Russia. France, with its deep resentment towards Germany following its defeat in the Franco-Prussian War, was never a viable option. Therefore, Germany chose to ally with Austria-Hungary and Russia through the League of the Three Emperors, an agreement that sought to maintain the status quo and peace in Europe. However, this alliance proved to be unstable and collapsed twice, once in 1878 and again in 1887, due to conflicting interests, particularly in the Balkans. After the final collapse, Germany decided to ally with Austria-Hungary, leading to the formation of the Dual Alliance. But what if Germany had sided with Russia instead of Austria-Hungary? This alternate course could have reshaped the political alliances and potentially changed the outcome of World War I. The collapse of the League of the Three Emperors. The League of the Three Emperors initially fell apart in 1878 due to disagreements over the Balkans, a region of strategic importance. Russia had won a significant victory against the Ottoman Empire and sought to establish a large independent Bulgaria, which would act as a Russian puppet state. Austria-Hungary, with its interests in the Balkans, objected to this plan, fearing that Russian dominance in the region would threaten its own influence. Germany mediated the conflict and, through the Treaty of Berlin, reduced the size of Bulgaria, a move that angered Russia. Feeling betrayed, Russia distanced itself from both Germany and Austria-Hungary, leading to the first collapse of the League of the Three Emperors. However, what if, instead of siding with Austria-Hungary, Germany had supported Russia's ambitions in the Balkans? Such a shift would have drastically altered the alliances of Europe. Germany allies with Russia, a new power dynamic. If Germany had chosen to align itself with Russia and support its ambitions in the Balkans, Austria-Hungary would likely have left the alliance, feeling abandoned by Germany. This decision would have forced Germany to fully commit to a partnership with Russia, leading to a Berlin-St. Petersburg alliance. This alliance would have been highly advantageous for Germany. Russia, though less industrialized than some of its European counterparts, was vast and had a tremendous workforce. Germany, with its industrial strength and military expertise, could have formed a powerful union with Russia. Together they could dominate Central and Eastern Europe, leaving Austria-Hungary isolated. The Partition of Austria-Hungary. In the event of a war between the German-Russian alliance and Austria-Hungary, both Germany and Russia stood to gain substantial area. Germany might have annexed the German-speaking areas of Austria-Hungary, including Bohemia and Moravia, developing them as protectorates. Russia, meanwhile, might have supported Slavic uprisings within Austria-Hungary, backing Serbia and Montenegro in their quest to free the South Slavs and form a joined Slavic state. In such a scenario, Austria-Hungary would likely have actually been segmented. Germany would take the German-speaking areas, while Russia would annex Galicia and support the development of a South Slavic state, possibly led by Serbia. Hungary, though it would maintain its autonomy, would lose substantial territory. The Austrian portion of the empire would cease to exist, essentially changing the balance of power in Europe. Italy joins the Central Powers. With Austria-Hungary in decrease and Germany aligned with Russia, Italy's position would also move. Italy, which had territorial ambitions in Austria-Hungary, particularly in South Tyrol and the Dalmatian coast, would have little reason to side with Austria-Hungary or its allies. Instead, Italy would likely sign up with the German-Russian alliance, seeking to acquire these contested territories. Italy's entry into the Central Powers would reinforce the German-Russian bloc, offering another industrialized power to challenge the remaining European powers. The formation of the Entente. With Germany and Russia aligned, Austria-Hungary would likely look for brand new allies. The most rational option would be France, which was eager to avenge its defeat in 1871 and recuperate Alsace-Lorraine. Britain, wary of both Germany's growing naval power and Russia's expansionist aspirations, would likely agree France and Austria-Hungary, forming an alternate variation of the Entente. This new Entente would aim to counter the German-Russian alliance, with Britain providing naval support, France providing industrial strength, and Austria-Hungary desperately clinging to its remaining influence in Central Europe. The Balkans, an area of long-standing tensions, would still likely act as the flashpoint for the Great War. However, the alliances would look extremely different in this alternate scenario. Serbia, backed by Russia, would push for the marriage of South Slavs, even more destabilizing Austria-Hungary. The Ottoman Empire, compromised and losing impact in the region, might discover itself drawn into the conflict on the side of the Entente, seeking to protect its staying European holdings. The Great War may start earlier than 1914, potentially stimulated by conflicts in the Balkans, as Serbia and Austria-Hungary clashed over the future of the area. Italy's involvement on the side of Germany and Russia would quicken the collapse of Austria-Hungary, while France and Britain would have a hard time to include the German-Russian bloc. Among the key differences in this alternate circumstance is that the war could be much shorter and less deadly than the actual World War I. In our timeline, Germany's Schlieffen Plan was designed to knock France out of the war rapidly, permitting Germany to concentrate on Russia. Nevertheless, in this alternate situation, France would be less of a threat, enabling Germany and Russia to focus their efforts on defeating Austria-Hungary and the Ottoman Empire. With Austria-Hungary surrounded and battling on several fronts, its collapse would come quickly. As soon as Austria-Hungary was out of the war, France and Britain would be separated, dealing with an effective German-Russian-Italian coalition. While the war may still drag out, it would likely be much shorter and less destructive than the extended stalemate of trench warfare that characterized the real conflict. If Germany and Russia emerged victorious in this alternate Great War, the map of Europe would look very different. Austria-Hungary would be dismantled, with Germany and Russia dividing its area. Italy would get its long-sought areas from Austria-Hungary, strengthening its place as a major power. The Ottoman Empire, having actually agreed the Entente, would likely face additional territorial losses. Russia might annex parts of the Ottoman Empire, especially in the Caucasus, while Greece and Bulgaria, both most likely lined up with the German-Russian bloc, would acquire area in the Balkans. France, facing defeat once again, would be forced to cede territory to Germany, possibly including the Saarland or other border regions. Britain, though not directly threatened by Germany or Russia, would likely lose impact in Europe and the Middle East, especially if the Ottoman Empire was dismantled. Had actually Germany selected to ally with Russia instead of Austria-Hungary, the entire course of European history would have been altered. The Great War, while still ravaging, might have been much shorter and less damaging. Austria-Hungary, instead of enduring up until the end of World War I, would have been dismantled much earlier, with Germany and Russia dividing its territory. Italy, rather than joining the Entente, would have lined up with Germany and Russia, even more strengthening the Central Powers. The political landscape of Europe after such a war would have been radically different, with Germany and Russia dominating the continent. France and Britain, though still effective, would have been separated, and the Ottoman Empire may have disappeared. This alternate history supplies a remarkable look into how various alliances might have improved the course of the 20th century.